Boardwalk on the Hotline. Does a great job covering baseball for USA Today. And Steve, always appreciate a couple moments. We are getting into some major crunch time now in baseball.
Indeed we are, and it's fun. I like a lot of teams involved.
No, yeah, it is. I mean, it's fun. I guess it's not fun when you're having skirmishes in the dugout and in the locker room, and you're having some issues here and there with a couple of these teams. How about Seattle? Let's start in the AL for a second. What the heck's going on with the Mariners?
I don't know, but obviously there's something that the team is aware of. If D. Gordon has time to usher reporters out of the clubhouse and close the doors
right.
Instant before a fight breaks out, something's not going smoothly there in that clubhouse.
No, it's not. And I think Cleveland from start to finish has been one of the better teams this year. We already saw Minnesota starting to fade a little bit in the Central. They're running away, Cleveland, with the division. Do you still believe that it's going to be Boston and Houston? Or the more you watch Cleveland, can you buy into them a little more and say they can be a threat against the Astros or the Red Sox?
Well, the interesting wild card in all of that is Josh Donaldson and whether he can actually be somebody who contributes for the Indians down the stretch and in the playoffs or not. Because, you've got with the Indians possibly, and if they get Trevor Bauer back, which it looks like they might, the best starting rotation of any of the playoff clubs. If you could throw Bauer out there, Corey Kluber, and Carlos Carrasco, that top three, I don't think anybody can touch, even the Astros. So I think Cleveland definitely can be a factor in this. And this is not the same Cleveland team that played so-so baseball for the first half of the season. It's a much better team. And if Donaldson can go and play on a regular basis, he gives them a big bat, another glove, a Gold Glove caliber. They could make things very, very interesting in the playoffs.
How about the year Ramirez has had? He's just been phenomenal this year. He's going to garner some votes in the MVP race in the AL. Who is your front runner right now in the AL for MVP?
I think it's got to be Mookie Betts, and Jose Ramirez is right there with him. But Betts, from his all-around play, his defense, and all of that, I think he's got to be the front runner, and leading a team that has the best record in baseball. So that's another thing. But Ramirez has had a fantastic season. JD Martinez is going to be in the conversation. He's going to be up there in all the Triple Crown hitting categories. But as a DH, I think that takes him kind of out of consideration, to tell you the truth. So those three seem to me to be the front runners in the AL.
As far as Rookie of the Year. Listen, I know we talk so much about Ohtani, and it's amazing. If he actually had 20 starts and 500 at-bats, that would be a sight to see. But the more I think about it, listen, to me, it's not even Torres. I think Andujar right now is the front runner, Rookie of the Year front runner for the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't know that there is a front runner in my book, Rich. I think certainly Miguel Andujar has got to be there. From an offensive standpoint, he's been the most consistent of any of the rookies this season. Ohtani is spectacular when he's playing, but he's missed a good chunk of time with injury. And so I think that lessens his stock a little bit. And Gleyber Torres, I wouldn't sell him short either. He doesn't really match up to Andujar in terms of the offensive numbers, but defensively, he's been a plus for the Yankees. He's been able to play shortstop some when Didi Gregorius is out, so that adds to his value there. This is going to be a tough one, and I think those three have to be the top three, and do the two Yankees siphon some votes from each other and leave it for Ohtani to win? That's a great question.
I did a double take when I was looking at some of these offenses now in the AL and the run differential. The Astros are plus 235 and the Red Sox are plus 223. Then you got the Yankees and you have the Cleveland, but the Indians. But the Red Sox and the Astros are like 100 more far and away better than those teams offensively. And I'm trying to wrap my head around the Red Sox in this season that they've had. And I know we've talked about it means nothing if they don't win the World Series, but they're putting up historic numbers. To me, it would be a colossal epic failure if they didn't win the World Series.
Well, the thing is, though, is that you've got some really good teams in the American League. And, yes, from a Red Sox point of view, I think it would be a horrible failure because they've been so good and have been the best team in baseball probably since, May May or June,
No
somewhere
doubt.
in there. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. But as you and I have talked before, Rich, if Chris Sale isn't 100%, this team is weakened considerably. And, as we have seen time and time again, teams can be great in the regular season and have that one key injury that just deflates them and makes them so weak that other teams can jump up and beat them. So from that standpoint, yes, it would be a disappointment to the Red Sox, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibilities because, as we said, Cleveland has a much better team now. The Astros look like they're going to take the West and be a force to be reckoned with. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't put it past the Yankees to be able to jump up and bite somebody in the playoffs too. This could be an epic postseason, depending on the evenness of the teams and the ability of one to easily beat the other.
Well, I think, as you mentioned, all these teams have question marks. I mean, with Chapman and the DL and the left knee tendonitis, I mean, they still have a championship-level bullpen with Betances and Robertson sharing the closer duties, and Green and Holder. Britton, Severino's, again, struggled in the second half. Happ, we talked about the trade deadline. Everyone was saying Hamels. I was screaming Happ. He's been their most consistent and their best pitcher.
He has, and if the Yankees have to play that one-game wild card playoff, remember what Severino did last year in the wild card game? He got 2 outs or 1 out or something like that, and had to be taken out. You could make a good case for Jay Happ starting that game for the Yankees if they had that one-game playoff to play next.
For Houston, though, is the biggest concern, as crazy as it sounds, is it Verlander? I mean, his last past, I looked up 10, 11 starts. He's allowed 15 home runs in 56 innings. Everything else is fine, the strikeouts, but the home runs to me are a little scary.
Sure, and that's something, he's pitched against some good teams in that stretch too. But, yeah, I think that's one of those things, though. Remember last year in the middle of the season when he was traded, he was just okay for the Tigers, and then all of a sudden joining Houston, boom, he turned it on and kicked things in. I think because the Astros are so good at making those adjustments and things of that nature, I think whatever it is, if he's tipping his pitches or he's having location issues, I have to feel like they'll be able to correct that by the time the playoffs roll around. So of all the things I might be concerned with the Astros, Justin Verlander's not that high on the list.
When we switch gears a couple moments on the NL, back and forth, the Phillies, they got to frustrate the hell out of their fan base because they always bounce back, or you have a bullpen implosion, or Kapler starts shuffling the lineups, or you're not winning series. But again, I keep telling people this. If they're 2 or 3 back, and they got 7 to go against the Atlanta Falcons. What more can the Atlanta Falcons? I'm thinking of football already because of football tonight with the Eagles. I am. I was going to ask you your Super Bowl picks in a second. The Falcons might outscore them against the Atlanta Braves. They're going to be right there. So if they're a couple games back, they're right there with their last 7 out of 11, I believe, because they have Colorado for 4 against the Atlanta Braves. So what more can you ask for if you're a Phillies fan?
Yeah, I think, and the Phillies hope that they do pull in Atlanta Falcons, and have a nice big lead and then blow it at the end. Right. So, I think anytime you've got a showdown, one team against the team that you're chasing, that's exactly what you want, because if you win, they lose. You don't have to depend on anybody else, and as long as you've got a few games to play against that team that you're chasing, you're still in it because you control your own destiny in effect. So, yeah, I think this is a dream scenario for the Phillies. If they can just keep close, keep contact and keep the Braves from running away with it, they've got their shot, and it's right there in front of them.
When it's all said and done, who's winning the West?
The West, I still think it's the Dodgers. They're just too talented and too good all the way around that they're going to take. Talking about run differential, Dodgers have the best in the NL, and the Rockies, even though they're in first place, have a negative run differential.
Yeah, -8. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's horrible.
So somehow they're getting it done, the Rockies.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they can continue to do it that way.
Yeah, 5 straight. And I don't know, did they close? I didn't pull up. I haven't had time to look. I was looking at the Dodgers. I was actually looking at the other night. They close Well, they've got Colorado a couple times, actually. They play Colorado 6 times. They've got Arizona and San Diego. So you're going to have some meaningful baseball there. Hey, listen, I'm curious, before I let you get out of here, I know you'll watch the NFL. I know you're enamored with baseball and everything going on. But do you have any surprise teams this year in the NFL, if you're a big NFL fan?
You know, I like the Minnesota Vikings with Kirk Cousins, and I have been a Redskins follower for pretty much my entire life. So I was sad to see Kirk Cousins go, but I love what the Vikings have on offense and defense. I'm picking them to go to the Super Bowl.
Really?
And,
okay.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the Houston Texans.
You're going with the Texans and the Vikings. It goes down in the books. You'll make our 3 Minnesota Vikings fans that tune in very happy. See, everyone kills me because I'm a Kirk Cousins fan too. I like Kirk Cousins. And you know what? The guy banked on himself a couple years, and he's able to cash in with Minnesota. All right, so I'm putting you down for Minnesota and the Texans. Do you know, since I'm in Atlantic City, you want me to do anything with the books? You want me to put anything in your name, or you just want to keep it copacetic?
That's right.
You can text me if you want anything. I'll take care of you. We'll have a different agreement on that. All right.
Good to have connections.
Yeah, no doubt, right? That's it's who you know, not what you know. All right, well, listen, always appreciate it. Enjoy the kickoff tonight, the Falcons and the Eagles. You got a ton of pennant baseball. Season's coming to a stretch. It's coming to a wind down. It's gonna be an incredible last couple weeks. We'll do it again next Thursday. Always appreciate a couple moments, pal.
All right, take care, Rich.
All right, you got it. Steve Gardner. Steve likes Minnesota and the Texans.